then our next Lunch and Learn will be held on December the 9th. We're going to feature Cross Cloud Ops, and they're going to be talking about cloud security and digital transformation. The technology world is ever changing, and we're just trying to stay one step behind it. As it leads, we're following. So we're going to talk again about cloud security and digital transformation. You can sign up to attend that event on our website. That's greensburgchamber.com. I do want to announce that the Greensburg-Decatur County Chamber of Commerce was just a part of the Child Care Summit hosted by the Indiana Chamber this past Monday. A very important topic as we look at the future of child care, not only here in Decatur County, but as our state unravels everything as a whole. And just proud to be a part of that conversation. We were there along with Economic Development Corporation, Greensburg, Decatur County, and the Decatur Shelby County YMCA. So want to thank those two partners for attending the Child Care Summit hosted by the Indiana Chamber with us. And we'll be looking to continue those discussions and look for, different avenues and ways to address some of those issues here in Decatur County specifically. Again, today we have Ken Mobley with the Veterans Services. Thank you so much for being here. We are coming right on the day after Veterans Day. Ken, are you a veteran yourself?
I am. I am a Decatur County veteran. A little bit about me. I retired from the Indiana Army National Guard back in 2021. And I retired as a Command Sergeant Major. Out of Shelbyville was where I primarily worked for the Indiana Guard. Most of my career was there. I ended up doing 23 years of active duty and 36 years total service. So I came out right after high school.
That's incredible.
And stayed for as long as I could until the body finally said, "Hey, enough is enough, and let's
Right.
get out of this."
Right.
But my wife and I, we live out at St. Morris,
Okay.
so out on the east side of the county. And we had two boys. My oldest is actually a member of the Indiana Army National Guard.
Very
He's a
nice.
Black Hawk mechanic and a crew chief. So if you see Black Hawks flying around Greensburg, he might be flying in the back of
Very
one of
cool.
those. And then my youngest son, his wife, just recently a Purdue graduate, took a job with a cybersecurity company, and they moved to Las Vegas. So that was him and I drove his goods out there, and that's a drive I don't want to make again.
Right.
But
How long did that take?
It took us almost 2 days.
Yeah,
to drive
I bet.
all the way out, but we got him out there and got him all set up, and so it's good to see my boys moving on and growing in their communities as well.
Yeah, well, thank you for your service. Thank you to your son as well. And thank you for the work that you're doing here in Decatur County. We want to unravel that a little bit and talk a little bit more in detail
Yeah.
about what that actually looks like. So there may be many out there who don't know that we have a Veterans Service Office. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so there's quite a few that when I introduce myself are like, wow, we have one of those. We have something like that in
Right.
the county. So yeah, we have. It's called Decatur County Veterans Service Office. Almost all counties have one. And their service officers are either part-time or full-time. And right now I'm a part-time employee, but the commissioners and the county decided that, hey, we think it's a critical role, and decided to make my position full-time so we can get the word out.
Right.
Get things out to our veterans and get them some assistance that they need to navigate the VA system. So it's great to be a part of this, and really looking forward to seeing how we can grow the Veterans Office here in Decatur County.
So when you're talking about the services for veterans, define that a little bit more for us. Can you be a little bit more specific about what that might entail?
Yeah, sure. Let me step back just one thing here, just why I wanted to be a veteran service officer.
Yeah.
It's sort of my passion. Being in the service as long as I did, 36 years, this was just another step to me on how I can continue serving our armed forces and our veterans in a different way. And so just looking forward to this. It is just absolutely thrilled to be here, to be able to do this. And then some of the roles of what I will do in my position. One is my services are completely free.
Okay.
So there's no cost. So a veteran come and see me, I'll help him with an array of things that we can do. And I'll highlight a couple of them. One is assisting our veterans in navigating the complex benefits system called the VA. It's just it's a roadmap that you've got to figure out how to go to and follow. And so being able to just assist them in that process to get their benefits, helping them to understand what those benefits are. There are several veterans that I've talked to recently that had no idea of some of the state benefits that come along with a veteran, and so they wasn't even applying for them or didn't even know anything about them.
Interesting.
And I call them it's the hidden gems, and so we're getting identifying those for them. The other thing they get is personalized assistance. So it's me and them one-on-one. They get my full attention while they're there in my office, and then if there's things that we've got to follow up on, I try to reach out to them to make sure that they're getting those documents that we need to be able to submit to the VA to get their claims approved. So it's a one-on-one. I'm the only one in the office, so I schedule them in so that way I know how to make sure I can manage that. I do walk-ins, but if it's something that's going to take us a while, I highly recommend making a phone appointment. Call me up and we'll just make an appointment. It's easier that way. Some of the other things that I'll do is called fostering community events. So you talked about it earlier about the Veterans Day Parade.
Yeah.
I was able to get in on the tail end of that one with Mark Carmen and Lindsay, and being able to help promote that and
a very, very nice celebration.
Yeah, it was great.
I was able to attend, and we had a beautiful day on Sunday.
Beautiful.
But besides that, it's very moving. It's such an honor to be able to see those who have given their time, given their efforts to support us as, human beings, as communities, as the United States of America, and just to be able to honor them and say thank you. Very honored to have been able to be there.
Yeah, and then the other thing, I was just telling you about it earlier, the Decatur County Foundation, every year they have a day where they say, hey, come by, we got a gift certificate we'd like to give for you. And Tammy invited me over, and I think we had 80 veterans that stopped by.
That's awesome.
Yesterday. So it was great to see all the veterans and a variety of ages. I think our oldest one was 95.
Fantastic.
And I would say our youngest one, we probably had them, they were probably in their 20s, maybe late 20s. But just that wide range of veterans that we have in Decatur County. And so those are the big ones that I do. But the other thing that I want to make sure our veterans understand is I'm not there just for the veteran themselves, but also for their spouses and for their children. There are things that they can the benefits that they have as well. And when I have them come in, we talk about them just to make sure they understand how we can take care of a family. Because when you take care of a veteran, you got to take care of the family, because that's what we're all about. And so, it's been a blessing. I'm looking forward to the challenges and the friendships that I can make with these veterans in Decatur County.
So you mentioned that there were 80 who attended the Decatur County Community Foundation's event. Do we have a pulse or an idea of how many veterans we have in Decatur County?
So the census says we have about 1,300 roughly in the county. And so my goal is I really want to be able to touch all 1,300 of
Absolutely.
them. Whether or not they're already receiving a compensation, but because I can then at least review it to make sure they're getting everything that they are deserving of. And so, I've talked to some veterans that go, oh yeah, I got my compensation. I'm, at 10%. And I'm like talking to them a little bit, and I just ask them some questions. We call it fishing.
Right.
So I'm asking some questions, and I find out that he's got 10%, and he's a Vietnam veteran that was in Vietnam. Oh, you should be more than 10%. And so it's, give me here my business card. You need to call me and come and see me.
Okay.
So it's really just educating our veterans on what those claims can be for their compensation. And by doing that, I think I'm hoping to be able to at least get a pulse on all 1,300, I hope.
Yeah, that would be amazing. What avenues or how can we, we obviously are using the avenue of radio right now to reach further. We've got the Community Foundation that's reaching out. We have the Veterans Day Parade. What avenues can we use here countywide to help you reach those people?
Well, I think, honestly, I've been here 6 months, and I've had more people said, hey, Ken, I've heard about you, that you helped another veteran, and I was told I needed to reach out to you. So word of mouth is going to be the big one. And the other one that I can always rely on is a veteran themselves, because veterans know other veterans. And so just that word of mouth by them, so me helping one, he'll go and tell two or three of his friends. They finally will come in, and those will tell 2 or 3 more of their friends, and eventually we start getting into the community of veterans. So, and stuff like this, helping with the foundation yesterday, just getting my face, my name out there, and I think that's going to open the door, and more veterans are going to go, yeah, hey, I need to go and stop by and see Ken. And it could be as simple as just stopping by the office and we introduce one another, and I give you a card, and sooner or later something will happen where you'll need some help, and you know where to come.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just word of mouth, and opportunities like this to be able to just tell our story. Not just my story, but our story as being veterans.
Absolutely. I know that I was on social media quite a bit throughout the last 48 hours, and I think our schools did a phenomenal job of recognizing and honoring our veterans, while they were still in class. So both countywide and in our city schools as well did a fantastic job.
Yeah, they did. I saw some of the articles on Facebook as well. I couldn't get to all of them. They all happened at the same time, like at 1:30, and it's like, I can't get to all of these. So, it's good to have other veterans be able to represent, because that's what they're doing. They're representing our community. They're representing what we do and our values as veterans. And so it's great to see the community step up and honor those guys. And it warms my heart to see that. Yeah.
Very neat educational experiences. Talk a little bit about, let's look to the future. Let's think about forward thinking here. Think about forward thinking. That was a great phrase, wasn't it? Let's look to the future, and what kind of plans do you have for the Veteran Service Office? Okay.
Great question. So just recently, I think it was in the newspaper last week, we just actually got a van. For the Veterans Office to be able to help transport some of our older veterans or those that are unable to drive to appointments. So right now we've got the van. I'm working on getting it decaled, so it will show Veterans Service Office on it. And our goal, my goal, is to have it operational by the first of the year.
Okay.
Because what I'm working on now, and hopefully the avenue here of radio will get this word out, but I'm looking for volunteers to be drivers. Currently, I've got a couple organizations that had talked about helping with funding, or at least helping to pay the driver to come in and offer their services. But as of right now, it's going to be volunteer.
Okay.
And hopefully, down the road, we can create and find a funding stream to where I can give them a little bit of something for their time of transporting our veterans. But hopefully at the first of the year, we'll be able to get that vehicle on the road. And it's scheduled to be able to transport our veterans for VA scheduled appointments only.
Okay.
So, and that will be from whether it's in Shelbyville, Edinburgh has a VA clinic, Indianapolis, Lawrenceburg, Cincinnati. Those are the main ones in our area. So that's our plan for a van. So we finally got one of those, and then just have to manage that. The other thing I want to do is just continue outreaching to find ways to reach out and to talk more with veterans. So one of the ways I want to do that is the education piece of that, of educating our veterans and their spouses on what those benefits are. A lot of them don't know. So I'm going to start offering some class. I don't even really want to call it a class, a seminar, a stand down, if you want to call it, to where I'll have it in a big room somewhere where we can put on a PowerPoint presentation and have
Sure.
some folks from other areas come and speak and talk about those benefits, what they are.
Okay.
Because a lot of the veterans don't realize some of the benefits that they're missing out on. And it's hard to navigate it. And I know that with being even a 36-year veteran that I am, I'm learning what some of those benefits are. Because it's, like I said, it's like a hidden treasure. And now I've got a map. And so now I'm on the quest of finding what all of those are and making sure our veterans know what they are. So we're going to have some stand downs to where I can have them come in and we can teach them.
Sure.
And show them what those are, and then I'll be the one that can help them apply for those benefits. And I want to do that at least 4 times a year, so that way we can get the word out. Some of those may be pinpointed to just very specific things, so I'll do an overall general, here's what this is, what the VA can offer or what those benefits are, and then push it down to something where it's only 1 or 2 items that we'll cover, but we'll go into more detail. So that way they can understand what those are. And then the other thing that I'm working on, if you've been around a veteran or military guy at any point, and I didn't bring one with me, but they have these things called challenge coins.
Yes.
That they're handed out for for something that you did, performance, just in excellence. I'm actually trying to create some there, but they're going to be like poker chips because those are way less expensive with a very little budget.
Yep.
But with those poker chips, I'm going to have my information on it, and my challenge will be is I'll hand one off to a veteran that I've been helping, and my goal is that to that veteran, your challenge is to give this to another veteran.
Very nice.
For that veteran then to come into my office, schedule an appointment, and we'll hand out more of those chips so that this chip is everywhere in Decatur County being handed out to our veterans, so that hopefully that will also be a means of communicating
Right.
who we are and what we're here to do.
Those are some lofty goals. I had no idea. But I love that. We get a lot of calls at the chamber about people who need assistance with rides, especially to medical type of appointments. So let's go back to that a little bit and talk a little bit more in detail about that. Like I said, we get quite a few calls at the chamber office asking for assistance with that, but you said specifically to VA scheduled appointments only.
Yes. So right now, I can't make it too wide. If I make it really, really broad, I'm afraid that I will never have enough drivers or enough time to get everybody where they need to go at, because it is only one vehicle, and so the reason why I want to keep it somewhat narrow-minded to start off with is just because of resourcing.
Right.
So if at some point we get down to the road and hey, you know what, I've got drivers that are available every day, and we can help with more flexibility and be able to handle more just local things, then that would be a great opportunity and maybe a great future endeavor.
Yeah.
To be able to do that, because I think it's needed. And the reason I say that, I can use one of my veterans for example. I got a veteran that lives out at Lake Santee, and so I go and drive to their house to help him because they can't make it into town. He's 90 and his wife's 78. So trying to drive into town is a big deal.
That's an ordeal, yeah.
So I go and visit them whenever I need to. And I do that for any veteran that has a hard time coming into the office because of age or mobility issues. But with that, they have a hard time getting in and out. And so having that flexibility, I'd love to have, somebody that's in my office every day that's just ready to go and pick somebody up if they needed it. But I think that's down the road. We can see. I would love to see it expand to that. And who knows? Maybe it's not one van, but maybe it's 2 that I have that's able to be able to do that throughout the community. And I would challenge anybody that's out there going, man, what is it that I can do for the VA or for the veterans? And maybe it's somebody that's got that passion and they want to create a transportation nonprofit and that's what they do, and they're able to help veterans do that. I would think that would be awesome, and I would love to be able to work with those guys to see how we can do that with our veterans. So
yeah, you never know who's listening and what will spark someone's interest.
Love to have somebody that's a nonprofit who goes, you know what, I have that, I can make that happen.
Yeah,
I would say go for it and come see me, and let's figure out how we can team up.
Of course, absolutely. Collaboration is key.
Yes.
We're talking about the services that you offer for veterans, and earlier in the program, as we were talking about the van, you disclosed that you have a need for volunteers. Do you have an idea of how many volunteers and what that time commitment might be?
So if I can, I would honestly, if I can get 10 to 15 volunteers, because the goal would be is to put them in a group text message and go, hey, I've got a veteran that needs a ride, and to see if one of them would be available. What it really, the time that they would be needed for is whatever that veteran's appointment is.
Right.
So if it's Shelbyville, hey, you know what? That's pretty simple. That's 30 minutes away, depending on how long the veteran has to wait for his appointment, and then just bring him back. And the next challenge I would even make is if you're a volunteer and you go, man, I don't know if I can do an Indy. That's okay. If you can do a Shelbyville, that's great. I'll find there'll be other volunteers that go, hey,
right.
I can do Indy and navigate the craziness of 465 in Indianapolis. If you don't feel comfortable with that, I can use it for Shelbyville or Edinburgh. Those are easy routes. So don't think I can't use you. I can absolutely use you. No matter what.
I feel like you were in the car with me on Monday driving to Indy, as I said. I absolutely get so stressed out navigating Indianapolis. Any other city I can handle. And for some reason, I get such anxiety.
I used to work up there. Before I took this job, that's where I worked in Indy, and I was a project manager, so I was all over the northern part of Indianapolis all the time. And I could tell you, when I took this job, the stress level of now a 10-minute drive from home to work, it's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't have to deal with, I look at 465 is really a NASCAR. It really is. If you know what I mean, if you've been there, you know exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Yep. Well, we cannot thank you enough and commend you enough for the work that you're doing here in Decatur County. And I love that you have so many goals for the future. I think it is fantastic that you're going to start offering the mobility services, utilizing the van that has been gifted to you. We've probably got veterans who are listening right now. What do you have to say to them? Any words?
Yeah, I do. So, to my fellow veterans, now's not the time to be the big, bold, brave, strong veteran that you are, like you were when we were in service, right?
Okay.
Because we had to display that, this
right.
is what we're here for. I want you to be the veteran that says, hey, Ken, I need help.
Yeah.
I have so many veterans who will tell me that when I talk to them, well, Ken, I was one of these guys. I just did this because that's what I felt my duty was. This is what I did. And I didn't expect anything in return. But what I tell them is that you did a job nobody else would. And that the duty that you did had sacrifices, and you made those, and it's okay to come and receive some benefits that are due you. And so come see me.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to receive the benefits for your service and your commitment to our country.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's a big deal.
It is. It is.
It's a big deal.
You're telling people to come see you. Where are you located?
So I'm located at 315 South Ireland Street. So it's the old, it's now the Annex building, but it used to be the old Washington School. I'm right directly behind the health department. So as you pull in, you go down to one of the side roads on the north side of the building. I'm door number 6.
Okay.
I'm really easy to find when I'm in the office. I've got an American flag flying on right next to my door because a lot of people had a hard time. Where are you at? So I put a flag out there that said,
Perfect.
"There's where my office is at."
Yep.
Come and see me. We've made some adjustments in my office. I got some flag displays up now, and so I'm trying to fix it so that it's warm and welcoming. And at some point, I'm going to get a little conference table in there. And one of my other goals is to be able to have a day with veterans, to where they come in and just sit down and tell me their stories.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stories that are untold.
Mm-hmm.
I just helped. I just met a veteran. He celebrated his 100th birthday. Robert Amrine from out in Westport, and I met him and was able to get some letters thanking him for his service, and at his age, a World War II veteran. At that, it was a privilege just for me to meet a World War II veteran, and what a blessing, and the stories that he could have that may be untold, and I'd love to have them come in and just tell stories, as a veteran can,
Right.
because those guys they laugh, and they make me laugh when I get around some of the old guys, and so I appreciate them. So I want to create a day where they can come in and just tell their stories, and document it, so that someday a future generation will go, "Oh, what's this?" and listen to the stories of those that and what they did.
Yeah. I have had the privilege of being around you several times here in the last couple of months, and you can definitely see the passion that you have for the job that you're doing now, and I am sure that transcends back to your time in the service. So again, thank you for all that you have done and continue to do for Decatur County and for our country alike. Those office hours for South Ireland.
Yeah, so right now, until the beginning of the year, I'm there Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Okay.
Usually about 9 to 4 is usually my hours. And then after the first of the year, when I'm able to go full-time, it'll be Monday through Friday. Pretty much same hours, about 9 to 4.
Awesome. And willing to meet on location,
Yep.
and the van service will be starting when?
I'm hoping after the first of the year. So
Okay.
that's I'm getting the final stages of getting everything documented. I'm writing up a little policy that says what I call it my right and left limits, what I can and can't do,
Sure.
just so that everybody understands it. Sort of a use policy, and then we'll get that thing rolling. I've already got, I think, 4 names so far for drivers, but love to have a deeper bench and to be able to help with that. So I'd rather look at some and say, nope, I already got somebody for that day, instead of me having to call around trying to find somebody really, really bad to take a veteran somewhere. So right now, I think we're on track for it.
Absolutely. Any last thoughts?
No, I just again, thanks for the chamber for letting me come on here,
Of course.
and the other organizations, WTRE, for letting me come on here with you, and the news, the articles in the paper. The word is getting out. People are I ran into somebody and they go, "Hey, Ken, how are you doing?" and had no idea who they are, and they said, "No, we read the article in the paper.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you for what you're doing." And so I can't thank the community enough, because I think the word's getting out, and now it's just for me to do what I've promised, and that's to take care of our veterans.
Absolutely. Well, again, we're here today with Ken Mobley, our Veteran Service Officer for Decatur County, located at 315 South Ireland Street, with office hours Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you are a veteran, please reach out. Ken would love to just have a conversation with you and make sure that you are getting those benefits that you are due. And if you are looking to be a part of that organization through volunteer services, again, please reach out to Ken. Phone number they can reach you at?
812-663-3151.
Awesome. Thank you again for being on the program with us today. With that, I am Dawn Lowe with the Greensburg Decatur County Chamber of Commerce. Thanks so much and have a great afternoon.